Today, I've got quite the story from the ever so anointed New York Times. Apparently, the Big Apple has agreed to pay millions to those oh so peaceful protesters from the 2020 George Floyd riots. I mean, it's been 3 years and we're still dealing with it. Can you believe it? Can you believe that the city's feeling pretty generous with taxpayer dollars these days? Of course you do. It's almost like the city has given up defending law and order and the people who pay for their world to run, the taxpayers. You're not going to believe how much the city just agreed to pay out. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. So according to the New York Times, the city has agreed to shell out a whopping $13.7 million to around 1,300 protesters who were either arrested or harmed by NYPD officers during those fiery but mostly peaceful riots. Yep, you heard that right. Each demonstrator is set to receive around $9,950, all courtesy of the generous taxpayers who were cowering under their beds in fear of all this bullshit that was going on. Who knew that protesting could be so profitable? You want to make some bank? Protest against something that happened to someone nearly 1,200 miles away. Just make sure that you're in a blue city, and you too can cash in on terrorizing people as trans activists. Those are people who are rioters, but they identify as peaceful protesters. Let's be honest, folks. Not many peaceful protesters were arrested during the Summer of Love riot. Cops arrest people who break the law, unless, of course, they are ordered not to make those arrests, which happened in a lot of blue cities during the riots. How many Marxists who toppled statues in blue cities across America were brought to justice? You remember seeing them all over the news, right? How many were brought to justice? I haven't heard of any. There may be some, but I mean, all those statues, how many people were arrested for that? Look, I'm sure there were some innocently peaceful protesters that got swept up in police brutality. But when you have a shitload of people who are throwing Molotov cocktails at you and doing everything and anything to harm you, and then you got other people screaming in your face, the professionalism that goes with that is asking a lot, and sometimes innocent people may get caught up in it. And I don't think that's the majority of the people here who were complaining, because some of the people complained that they weren't even harmed. They say that their right to protest was impeded by the NYPD. Lead attorney for the grifters, Elena Cohen, claims they're fighting for people's rights. Oh, it's all about being able to protest, being in the streets and saying whatever they want about the government without any fear of getting a tiny scratch. Oh, how noble. I'm sure the city is thrilled to fund these freedom fighters with their hard-earned cash. And of course, they totally believe in the city's innocence. Sure, no liability at all. Wink, wink. Hold on. Let's take a look at the city side of the story. The lawyers of the city are arguing that those peaceful protests, riots, weren't exactly a peaceful affair. Nay, nay. They insist that some of these events devolved into a bit of looting and rioting. Oh, really? Who would have guessed? Police cars were set on fire. Precinct houses were vandalized. Officers were attacked. And even Molotov cocktails, bricks, and other harmful objects were thrown at the brave men and women in blue. But hey, who cares about all that, right? I shouldn't have even mentioned it. So there you have it, folks. The city of New York, always looking out for its citizens, is dishing out millions to those innocent, mostly peaceful protesters who were just exercising their First Amendment rights with a little side of looting. How thoughtful, how patriotic. Bravo, New York, for putting those hard-earned tax dollars to good use. I hope you all enjoyed this little piece of news, but remember, it's always good to question the narrative. All right, so that's it. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in the next one.